Thanks for submitting your questions. We at ID at Xbox have the privilege of helping indie developers navigate their way through development. It's a role we take great pride in and one we are all passionately committed to, so it's really a team effort. Without further ado, let me introduce you to some of the great people on the ID Xbox team who make this all a reality. So first of all, we have Karen. She is one of our great strategic partner managers. Below her, we have Nick, who is on our portfolio team. Over here, we have Becca, who manages a lot of the infrastructure on the team. She's our business manager. And then, of course, in the upper right, we have Chris Charla, who is our senior director of ID at Xbox and basically the guy who founded the ID at Xbox program. So thank all of you for joining remotely. I know that's a little bit challenging right now, but this is fantastic to have you here, and hopefully we'll get some good opportunity to chat. I'm going to jump in immediately with a question for Chris. What's the one thing every dev should know about releasing their game?
Wow, that's a great question. I would say the one thing to know before you release your game is just understand that no matter how much work you've done before release in terms of going to shows, tweeting, everything like that, the majority of people are going to experience your game for the first time when they see it in new releases on the Xbox store. So the best advice I can give people is focus like crazy on making sure that box art image is super arresting and super cool. It has a great silhouette. It has good color. Look at the store. Think about what would stand out. And then making sure that your screenshots, once people click into the box art in the game's detail page, really stand out. Of course, on Xbox today, the store will immediately start auto-playing a video. So make sure that video is great. And then make sure that store text really pops. Work on it, have friends work on it, and don't use an auto translator. Don't use Bing Translate or Google Translate when you're trying to do the store text for other territories. It really doesn't work out well. But really just think about those elements of the game that are going to be the thing that people see when they have never heard of your game before. Because no matter how much work you do, the chances are the majority of people are going to see your game for the first time there in the store. And that is your opportunity to grab them with the box art and then to really sell the game with just amazing screenshots and an amazing trailer and, really compelling store text.
Yeah, it's funny. We talk about box art a lot. I mean, it's probably the most obvious thing in the world, but I think one thing that developers really need to keep in mind, especially if they're coming from other platforms, is that the way the box art is used on Xbox. If they're on Steam, or another PC platform, people have a different experience with the box art. They see it much closer, whereas most people on a console or most people on Xbox are looking at it from their couch 6 feet away. So it's kind of a different experience.
That's exactly right. Because they, when you're designing the box, you're designing on a PC screen that's like 18 inches away from you. And when you're on Steam or Epic Store or whatever, Microsoft Store, again, you can see the box really big. But on Xbox, you're 10 feet away, maybe more. And so I just advise everybody to look at the store, think about what works at the sizes on the store. You can actually, there's apps so you can look at your own pictures on Xbox. Make mock-ups. Grab a screen of the store, put box art as mock-ups into that, and see how it feels on screen on an Xbox, not on your monitor. The piece of art I used to always point to people to, and I still think it's a good example, is Ark Survival Evolved had just a really nice piece of box art. The box art is really clearly telegraphed dinosaurs and sci-fi and multiplayer in a way that was just really, really compelling. And I'm not saying put a dinosaur on your box. I mean, maybe. But
everybody likes dinosaurs. Really,
yeah, I mean, it might work. But really just try and think about how you can just create an image that's striking and it doesn't have a lot of, especially on Xbox, doesn't have a lot of really small elements that somebody's going to need to get really close to the screen to be able to see.
Yeah, and they can always print it out and put it on the TV and sit on their couch 10 feet away and look at it.
Absolutely.
So Nick, I'm going to introduce you here and throw a question to you. So Nick is on our portfolio team. I don't know if everybody knows what that means, Nick. So you want to just tell us a little bit about what do portfolio people do?
Yeah, totally. I am a content planner on our Xbox portfolio team, and I guess you could say I'm an internal advocate for indie games here at Xbox. I advise various teams on titles that I think we should highlight, games that would be good fits for services like Game Pass or xCloud, games that I think ID at Xbox should highlight at E3 or other shows, or maybe games that we should align with for Scarlet launch and launch window. It's the greatest job in the world, and I should add that games coming for Scarlet, Game Pass, xCloud are absolutely ridiculous and awesome, and everybody should be excited.
And we are, Nick. So we got a question from Twitter about how do independent games work on early access? Our version of early access is called Xbox Game Preview. You want to talk a little bit about that? Nick?
Oh,
that was for you.
So we've got a few different opportunities for our version of early access. We have Xbox Game Preview, which is pretty limited number of slots, and it's kind of highly curated, but we do have something available to any developer with an approved game. We call it our flighting, Xbox flighting. So developers can choose to flight their game to Xbox employees only, or people in a specific region, or players, a certain number of players. And these are all players who are in our Xbox Insider program. So they're our most engaged users, and essentially people can just use that to get feedback, and they can pose questions to developers, have surveys, have them go to a website and fill out additional feedback and iterate on that sort of thing.
Cool. Chris, do you have any thoughts on Xbox Game Preview?
I think it's awesome. I know devs have been really successful in the program. It's a great way to make sure your game is visible in the store for a really long time, because there's usually a slot for Xbox Game Preview games, and the thing that I think about it that's really awesome is it's a great way to just cement your relationship with your community, because there's a way, it's actually a requirement that players have an opportunity to feedback on the game, and that's really the point of Game Preview. So that as you're in development, you're at a point where the game is playable, but you want to keep going and really nail it down, that you can get that crucial feedback from players about what's working, what's not working, suggestions, and A, that makes a better game for everybody, but B, it gives an opportunity for you to really, as a developer, cement that relationship with your players.
Great. We've had a lot of success with game previews. As Nick mentioned, we do kind of curate the program, so we look carefully at the games to make sure that they're going to be at the right stage for our players. But some of the biggest ID at Xbox games have come out of the game preview program.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got a question for you, Becca. A lot of people are asking about Game Pass. Game Pass is obviously something that we're really excited about these days. It's been pretty successful. So a couple of people are asking what makes a game a good fit for Game Pass. Are there any standards or guidelines to getting a game into Game Pass, or how does an independent game make its way into Game Pass?
Well, Glenn, mostly what we do, we're looking for a big variety of games. So one of the basic tenets of Game Pass is to discover your next favorite game. So the biggest thing is that we just want a really wide variety. So we're always excited for when devs reach out to us asking if they can have their game considered for Game Pass, which they do every day. And once we get that request in, we send it over to the Game Pass team. Everybody takes a look at it, and the ones that we can move forward, we can. We try to move forward as many as we can.
And Becca, do you play a lot of Game Pass games?
I do. I'm playing Ori and the Will of the Wisps right now.
Oh, awesome.
Game Pass.
What's the most recent ID at Xbox game you played?
Probably Uncharted Tales Port Royal. That's one of the hidden object puzzle games that just came out recently.
Oh, cool. All right. So, Karen, I've got a question for you here. How's the landscape looking for bringing more emerging market games into Xbox, both current and next gen?
I'd say it's looking great. I think I personally have a real passion for working with new and developing developers all around the world, and kind of expanding what we see on our platform. So I think we're really enthusiastic about having new developers from developing markets, and I would encourage people to reach out early. I think the greatest limitation that we probably have is that most of our team is based in the US. So sometimes we have difficulty speaking with people in their native languages. But for the most part, I think reach out early so we can mitigate any kind of issues. But we're really excited to have you. So come apply at ID at Xbox.
And we have games on ID at Xbox from how many continents?
Ooh, I don't know if I know that number. Well, I guess it's probably 6.
6. Yes.
Definitely six.
We don't have any from Antarctica
everything
yet. We're
is a
working on that.
priority.
That'll be
Yeah.
yeah.
If you're in Antarctica, please reach out
Yeah.
so we can fit that 7th one.
And do you have any ID Xbox games you're playing now, Karen?
I'm actually playing a bunch of Artifacts Monday hidden object games too. They're super relaxing for this time, and with all the kids at home, it's a good way to relax. We're doing Queen's Quest.
All right. And Nick, you probably play more games than anybody. What's a game you played most recently that you liked?
I'm currently playing Ori as well. I know that's not an ID game, but it's fantastic and everybody should play it. I was also playing some Artifacts Monday games this weekend because it's what
The
we
ID
do
team
here.
is really plugging Artifacts
Also
Monday here.
I was also playing Grizzland recently. I think that shipped last week or the week before. I don't know. I'm always in the middle of 500 to 700 games at every given time, it seems.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. So there's another question here that asks about, in our opinion, the crucial difference in marketing strategies for indie versus AAA campaigns, and in what way they can indie devs fully utilize the ID Xbox platform. Being the marketing guy, that one's probably for me, but I'll open up to the team as well for anybody who wants to jump in on that. I mean, obviously the crucial differences are pretty obvious. It's time and it's money and resources. So we give this talk, Ago in Europe and Chris myself, a lot of times to independent developers where we actually go through different ways that you can use our channels and how you can most effectively promote your game through our channels. And I have this great slide in there that shows the difference between the most expensive marketing vehicles and the reach of the different vehicles. And the one thing I would just encourage you to, and it gets a little bit complicated in terms of what you're getting for your money, but the main thing you want to look at when you're marketing an independent game is really think about the efficiency of what you're doing and how much effort you're going to put into it. So the phrase we sometimes use is the juice worth the squeeze. So for example, a TV commercial doesn't make sense for most independent games, but focusing on very small communities, Discord or on Twitter, and trying to build that community early is something that results in a lot of those kind of efforts bring results later on. The other thing I'd say that is just another painfully obvious thing, but most people get this wrong, is just plan your launch. Don't crash land into your launch. You need, a lot of people will get through the they'll finish the game and then they'll try and launch it a week later, which leaves you almost no time at all to take your existing community and bring those people to your platform and let them know that the game is there. So we sort of strongly encourage you to build as much time into your schedule as possible to allow time for marketing from, when you pass cert to when you launch. That could be 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that. Chris, did you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I think to me, one of the biggest questions that I know a lot of devs have, and I think it's come up in the Discord now, is how has the rise of subscription service kind of changed the landscape for independent developers? And when, I think you probably have a take on this. When I think about it, I think that services like Game Pass have been just incredible for discovery. I think about a game like Demon's Tilt Pinball, which I've been playing a ton of. That's like an amazing game. And, the fact that it's in Game Pass means, millions of people have been able to download it and play it and have a great time. And, now the developer is building this community. People have awareness like how great this game is. Whatever they do next, people are going to be poised to be stoked about that and want to know more about it. And so, obviously it's great from the specific opportunity is great. But I think that one of the biggest things about subscription services that maybe developers haven't thought about is how much that builds a community that is ready for your next game too, and the game after that. And so you're not just getting one game into a subscription service, you're starting a relationship with millions of fans that, hopefully is going to continue for a really, really long time.
Great. And Chris, I didn't ask you what your favorite game or what game you're playing most recently.
So I've been playing a ton, actually, of Demon's Tilt. It's just a score rush pinball game. I've been trying to get 1 billion. I've got 750 million. I think I can do it. And then I also started playing Return of the Obra Dinn, which is just an amazing adventure game with this Macintosh style 1-bit graphics, but really cool deductive reasoning mystery game set on an abandoned schooner, and it's amazing.
Yeah. So I sat down and played about an hour and a half of Farm together last night. So that's a game, a pretty simple farming game, but once you get into it, it's addictive. Like half the marketing team at Xbox has 100 hours into that game. It's pretty amazing. So probably, let's see, Chris, I got one more question for you. What are we thinking about in terms of Scarlet? What are we thinking about in terms of how ID at Xbox is going to work on Xbox Series X and the next gen?
Yeah, I mean, the awesome thing with Scarlet is and ID at Xbox developers or independent developers is we already kind of have a model of how it's going to work, and it's really the same as we worked with independent developers on Xbox One X. So we have this new console coming. Of course, independent developers are going to be a crucial part of the mix on that console. We've already got dev kits out to a bunch of developers. If you are an ID at Xbox developer, you've gotten an email saying, hey, let us know what your Scarlet plans are. And there's links to fill some things out. Obviously, at the start of a new console, we're a little bit more hardware constrained with dev hardware than we are later on. And so we have to just, allocate, similar to the way we did with Xbox One X, where, people who have games shipping sooner rather than later and that sort of thing. But in terms of like platform access, every dev is going to have platform access, obviously, to Xbox Series X, and we're super excited to see what they do. And it's been fun to get those first dev kits sent out and see things come up. And of course, I can't talk about any of those games, but I think people are going to be blown away when they see what independent developers do with the power of Xbox Series X.
And so are you officially committing right now that the ID at Xbox program is continuing into the next gen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Never a question.
Awesome. Becca, what are you most excited about with the next gen console?
I'm just excited to play all the great games that are coming. Part of my job is tracking external partnerships with developers, and so I get to see all these games that we're looking at right now that are going to be shipping onto the next console, and just super excited for that.
Are you getting a lot of inquiries from developers about next gen?
Oh, every day. Every day.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great the excitement that all the developers have.
Awesome. So we have this tradition at GDC, which is going back for us, 5 years now? Where we create a new skateboard every year at GDC, right? Is this the 5th year? So the kind of the fun thing about, actually, Chris, this is your baby. You want to talk about this a little bit before I reveal it?
Skateboards are awesome, and it's always fun to have them at GDC and give them out to developers and see people carrying them around, and people have built up huge collections of them. And it's also important to note it is a really rideable deck. We get these from like a really good company, 7-ply, Canadian maple, cold pressed. If you know about skateboarding, those are the words you want to hear. And there it is.
And so every year we have a different design, right? And so this is our 4th or 5th one, and they've become somewhat collectible, I think. And the way we hand them out, we usually hand them out at GDC, out to developers. Chris does this fun thing, or some of the different people on the different team. They'll hide it somewhere around San Francisco and take a picture of where it's hidden, and then people have to go and find it, based on that. So, unfortunately, we're not at GDC this year, but we will find a fun way to get these to our partners and developers. Not sure what that is yet.
Yeah,
we'll figure that out.
And I love this design this year. We kind of tweaked our logo and just went with. I don't know. Somehow the logo just suggested this sort of like 80s, 90s radical design, and I think it looks really cool.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for joining us remotely. I know it's been a little challenging. Thank you all, everybody out there, for your questions and comments. And for more about ID at Xbox, or if you're interested in applying to the program, make sure to go out to xbox.com/ID.